back to Tallin, Estonia. We're going to bring you some live coverage here from the World Curling Championship 2015. This is some footage from the Old Town Square. And now we're heading into the Tundra Ice Hall for the second draw in the men's competition. Switzerland against Scotland, a replay of the final from last year in Flims. Both teams at a 1-0 record so far. My name is Sander Elvog and I'm joined by the lovely Alison Krviazik. We're going to take a look at the standings, Alison.
So, as you can see here, just after the first draw, we've got Canada, Estonia, Scotland, Switzerland, and Sweden all at one win each. And then for the bottom five, we've got Italy, Korea, Norway, Russia, and the States all looking for their first win here today.
Still very early in the competition though, Alison.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, lineup for Switzerland at lead, Michael Probst, second, Patrick Wittschonke, third, Yannick Schwaller, and skip Romano Meyer. Alternate player, Reto Keller, and team coach, Erik Niffenegger.
And for the Scottish team, we've got skip Bruce Mowat. We've got the third, Duncan Mingus. The second, we've got Derek Sloan. And the lead is Angus Dowell. And their alternate is Bobby Lammy. Should be a fantastic game. We're really excited to get going here.
Yeah, just listening into the Flower of Scotland, yes. Scottish national anthem. Scottish team being honoured. We see that Switzerland will be playing the red stone, Scotland the yellow, and Scotland won the last stone draw, so they'll have a hammer for the first. A wee bit hell and glen, as we so see in the national anthem. Scotland looking to send Switzerland homewards. Still early in the week. Switzerland, reigning world champions. Pretty much the same team. Yannick Schwaller skipping once again, although the fourth player, Reto Keller, he's the alternate for this week. He left junior champs to play for Team Pfister of Switzerland, and they had actually just won the Swiss Championships last week, so they are ready for the World Championships. So just another sign of you know, the juniors catching up to the men's.
Yeah. And
the very best junior teams very often make it into men's play and compete at a high level.
For the Scottish team, we've got some fresh faces here at the World Championship, but their vice was actually here last year in Flims.
Yep, Duncan Mingus.
Duncan Mingus, yep.
He was supposed to be alternate for the Scottish team last year, but Cammy Smith, which was the brother of Skip Kyle Smith, he felt a bit sick. So Duncan Mingus came on to play the first games, and Cammy really never recovered, so Duncan played all the games. And like we mentioned, they lost the final to Yannick Schwaller. So Duncan looking for some revenge here early on.
Little redemption game here early, second draw.
And the Swiss boys won both the games last year against Scotland, the round robin and the final.
First rock here for the Swiss team, and just comes a touch deep. They're aiming for the top 4 foot there.
Michael Probst lead for Switzerland. And Angus Dowell, lead for Scotland. Looking for the corner guard early on. It's always nice to see a bit of aggression in the first end.
Absolutely.
Especially with that redstone slipping in behind the tee. There's less risk of putting up the corner guard. See some great sweeping action from Duncan. And Derek Sloan alike.
I think we're going to see quite a bit of rocks in play this end.
I think we're looking at two fearless teams out there, and I don't think they'll mind having a few stones in play.
Come on up. Come on hem stay. Oh, it's the same. Oh. No, Drew. Snel tegen. It's okay, Drew. Drew is okay. Drew is okay. Door hier. Door hier. It's okay, dude. Okay, Senna.
Bringing it close to the house without bringing it fully in. So the 4 rock rule, it makes it so that they're not able to take out that rock. So they're going to try and aim for the back one.
Close. Fire down. Yep. High. All the way. Yep, all the way. No roll, no roll. Okay, Angus. Good sweep there.
So Swiss trying to get a nice hit and roll behind cover here, as Scotland just squeaked out into the open on the other side.
Whoa, 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 night.
Of course, this is not Probst, it's Peter Wietrönke, second for Switzerland. He's going to roll out.
Okay. Easy.
And I wonder if Scotland's just going to draw around the corner guard now.
Yep, there we go.
There we go, Wietrönke. So a nice chance for Scotland here to generate a deuce. Derek Sloan with the outturn draw.
Close. Wait, you should be all there. Did you get? Right. Did you get? Close. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Wait, sir. Whoa. Wait's nice. No. No, 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 no. Wait only. Needs to go. Wait. Wait. Needs to go. Yep. Get it.
Some great brushing.
He needs it too, comes a bit short, just enough to enter the top of the 12 foot.
Yeah, they brought that as far as they could have.
Sometimes a little bit hard to guess the weight, drawing around the corner guys in the first end. You played a lot of stones to the 4 foot with your last stone draws in practice. Maybe not as many coming off the center line and towards the wing, so it's a bit of a guess early on, I think.
First couple ends, it's good to add a few extra feet just in case.
Wietrönke with the hit and roll. It's going to rub off the corner guard. And spin through the house.
Almost nicks his top guard, which would have left his shooter somewhere in the rings, but just squeaks by it, giving Scotland the opportunity to draw around and lie to right now.
Where? Oh, big right, big line. Please, nice. Lots of room. Angus. Angus. Top
Where?
4.
Top 4.
Yep. 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 Try and swing it. Yep. Hard. Right back.
Angus, go, 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 go. Go hard.
Great draw weight. A touch on the open side, but nonetheless, a good shot.
So Skip Yannick Schwaller is up. Yannick playing the third rocks and skipping the team. Son of Christoph Schwaller. Christoph and Andy Schwaller, the brothers that got the bronze medal in Salt Lake City, 2002. Andy Schwaller being his uncle, of course, and also the godfather of Yannick, so some real good curling relatives. And he's already surpassed his father at junior level. His father grabbing a bronze medal in 1988. Or sorry, losing out to the bronze final against Team Thomas Ilford in 88. So big things to come from his son, perhaps.
That's close.
Really nice shot. Rolls a tad too far, but does force Scotland to play a hit and roll and stay on the same side as their other yellow, potentially setting up a double for Yannick on his next one.
Yep. Hard. Whoa. Hard. Hard. Hard, guys. Hard. Hard.
There's Duncan Mingus. Oh, Rex on the guard. And now actually Switzerland lying to. All of a sudden things change quickly and the curling ends.
Yep. Momentum can switch.
So it was a nice hit and roll by Yannick Schwaller and a bit of a miss from Duncan Mingus.
Switzerland's going to look to just roll to the center line here and cover their one that they have on the top of the button. Nice thing, we're seeing the low weights again. Guys only throwing about control weight, so around a 10 here. Oh, and that picked.
Seemed to have picked after making contact with the
yeah.
It looked a bit funky. Didn't roll as flat as we were expecting there.
It looked like it was actually going to roll to the perfect spot. Just.
Did see a pick yesterday in the women's draw, Estonia, with a bit of a crucial pick with Maria Turman's last draw, leaving Gina Aiken a simple draw for 3. So something the ice maker's going to have to look out for.
And the sweepers.
And the sweepers especially.
All the way.
Oh, this time rubs again, but
redirects onto the back one.
I think it's not looking too happy with his efforts. Lying completely in the open for Switzerland to make a play on it and lie 3 again. And we're going to have our first look at Romano Meyer. He was on the bench initially last year, but then he came on and he played second for the last 3 or 4 round robin games and also the playoffs.
Playing in the gold medal game.
Stepping up, filling Reto Keller's shoes at 4th position. And it's a good start for him.
Nice shot.
And now Scotland just looking to make a few doubles here and perhaps blank the end. Bruce Mount has played the World Mixed Doubles twice, playing with Gina Aiken, which we saw yesterday in the women's draw, skipping the Scottish team. Made the quarterfinal back in 2013 at the Mixed Doubles. So he's been on championship ice a few times.
Right off it. Lewis. Right off, right off, right off, right off. Never.
Nice to have that experience.
Fine.
Ooh.
Oh, I was probably going out there, guys.
They'll miss the one behind it, so giving Switzerland the opportunity to really try and make his last shot a lot more difficult. Block off his draw path and perhaps make him throw the hit and roll to try and get his one.
Pretty clear where they want this rock.
Yeah.
Yannick pointing to the top of the 8. Just want to bring it close enough to the forefoot that if he makes the hit on the stone on the wing, he's actually gonna have to roll in towards the center line to get shot. It's all about just, even though you know you're not giving up more than one here, it'd be nice to apply a little bit of extra pressure. You might get a steal out of it. It's all about making every single stone count.
Especially in the first end, where you're not entirely sure of what the ice is going to do. So definitely applying the pressure in that stance is really good.
Line's perfect, Yannick says.
Weight looks pretty close. Maybe a touch heavy.
That's
No,
a
that's
real nice shot. And now if Bruce Mount plays the nose hit on the wing here, he's probably giving up a steal of 1, so he needs that tiny roll in towards the forefoot. And that's exactly what the Swiss boys were looking for. I remember playing Bruce Mount in junior events maybe 4 years ago, so he's been on the tour for a while.
Wow.
Seems like he's been a junior forever. So been competitive for a long time, Bruce Mount.
Well, and speaking of being a junior forever, I spoke to Bobby Lammy, their alternate for Scotland. He still has another 3 years of juniors. It's fantastic to have so many opportunities at representing your country, and he ended up losing out to. He's gonna roll out here. Giving up a steal of 2, unfortunately.
Yeah, not completely accurate, Bruce Mount here in the first end. And yeah, that's not 2 for Scotland, it's 2 for Switzerland, in fact. So, not the best start for the Scottish team. You remember the girls yesterday, they scored their 2. There we go. We got the scores right. And
still really early in the game. If they can get a 2 second end, it's as if nothing happened. Just go about your business and try and put that one behind you.
Yeah, just mentally think, well, let's pretend the Switzerland had the hammer and scored 2.
Yeah.
I think these 2 teams are probably 2 of the favourites for the competition. Obviously, having reigning world champion as favourites is not going out on a limb.
No.
But
I think we're going to see this game again a little bit later.
Probst again with the turn draw. Some real nice footwork from Wietronk-Krieger. Getting some real pressure on the broom. If you're going to have a championship team, you need every player on the team to really grasp their position, try and make the best out of it.
really embrace your position and
Yeah.
be the best that you can possibly be.
Not sure if you ever had problems with that in Canada, everyone wanting to be the skip or something like that.
Oh, I never wanted to be a skip. That kind of pressure is not for me. Front end forever.
Yeah, some players enjoy the tactical side of things, and well, I guess some players just like being out there sweeping.
I'm good at the weight calls. I'll stay at that. But that's just it, right? You know, you've perfected, you're working towards perfecting your position, and it's not about moving up in curling. It's everyone's position is just as important as the other.
Okay.
Slips in. Earl, our coach, Earl Morris, used to always remind us that none of us are as good as all of us, so it takes 4 people to make a shot. Very wise words.
The team's only as good as their weakest link, sort of.
Yeah. Stuff it.
At least leaves the shooter in play. I wonder if Yannick's looking at the double here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he'd be definitely looking to peel that corner there, and if he can get a bonus on the other yellow.
Playing this across the face, actually.
Yeah,
The in-turn.
In-turn with it.
Does catch the yellow one a bit thin. Redirects onto their own shot.
You don't see across the face peels too often. Normally, when teams call peels, it's more in the comfort zone to go to the rock instead of going across the face.
Well, I remember Jean-Michel Menard, their team at the Briar a couple years ago. They tend to play the out-turn on pretty much every shot, no matter what.
Okay.
It seemed like they just perfected the out-turn. And from the stats, it seemed like all the players were playing more than 80% out-turns for the entire week, which seemed a little crazy. But
do what you need to do, I guess.
Well, they had a good week. They made the playoffs. So.
Yeah.
Do you have a preferred turn?
No. Depends on the week, maybe. Sometimes you get into bad habits that you don't necessarily know how you got into them, but.
Remember Ben Hebert's, he's Kevin Martin's old lead, and Olympic girl champion said, average in-turn, world-class out-turn.
No interns.
Especially as a lead, you tend to throw one turn a lot more than the other.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So, Derek Sloan playing a hit out in the wing here. Looking to roll towards the center line.
He does not look pleased.
I'm going to catch that one high side roll out.
Now we're going to end up seeing a blank end here, so the guys are going to peel this guard away, leaving the house completely open. Unfortunately, not a way to generate your deuce.
So if this was a red guard, they'd probably draw around it, but with it being yellow, they don't really feel comfortable drawing around, because if they end up crashing it, they might tap it in. Or even if you make the perfect draw, Scotland might play the run back, and it's not helping.
Not
So
worth
they
it.
want to remove the yellow.
And everyone's just getting so good at the run backs.
Whoa, easy, easy. Yep. Easy, 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 easy.
There we go. No stones in play. And Bruce Mount already knows what he wants. It's a corner guard. He's going to hope for a mistake.
Line's all right. Angus. Easy, guys. Just a guard. Angus. 2. Line's nice. Hard. Line's really nice.
A nice corner guard from Duncan Mingus. Remembered he had a really good week last year as a lead for Kyle Smith. Draw weight was spot on.
It's always nice when that happens.
Easy. Clean.
Sure.
Clean.
High
Easy.
confidence
Forward.
levels.
Easy, easy. Good.
Well, he hasn't forgotten to play a corner guard,
No.
but it comes off, and he's pretty much just going to have to do that one once more. I'm going to switch
Go
it
to
up.
the other side.
Yeah, play the other turn. Make your opponent play a different shot. Try and force a mistake.
Line's nice. Line's good. Line's really good. Yep. Yep.
Weight looks pretty good as it comes down.
Hard. 2. Hard, guys. Yep, yep, yep. Hard, guys.
Just looking for a halfway guard here. Not too tight to the rings.
Clean. Yep. Oh, easy. Whoa. Right. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, wait. Clean, clean. Okay.
And we're just going to alternate the side here. Same like before.
This one looking to enter the house though, I believe. No need to put a corner guard up with the skip rocks.
Off it there.
No.
Oh, easy. Hooks all here, boys. Hooks all here. Hooks all here. Line's fine. Easy.
Change up the line for the other skip.
Round it, T, boys. It's fine. They're not going to freeze it. As long as it's in the rings. Hey, Bruce.
You'll see Romano Mayer already in the hack in the other end.
Saving some time.
Yeah, knows what to do. No need to stand and discuss anything. You got thinking time, so your clock really only runs while you're preparing for your shot. Stop. Well, now the clock will stop when you cross the T line.
Clean, back. Where's the lead?
And we'll stick around, so Bruce Mount's going to have to play a hit and run for his blank.
Using lots of weight.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Hard, guys. Nice. Go, Bruce.
And he will get the roll out. So it'll be a blank end here in the second.
That's fine.
Yeah, just going to retain hammer and try again. And the third. Switzerland still in the lead, 2-0. And looking elsewhere in the arena, we have a couple of other exciting games on. We got Russia playing Canada. And they had a blank end, first end. I see USA is playing Norway. The States just scored 2 in the second end, so they're leading that game 2-1. Korea taking on Italy. They scored 2 in the first end, and Italy blanked the second, so 2-0 for Korea. And just next to where we're sitting, we got Sweden playing Estonia, the host nation. Sweden scored 2 in the first end, and they've just finished the second, although I can't really see what happened. 2 for Sweden again, I think. So they've stole 2. Bit of a rough start for the Estonians this morning.
But starting off with a win yesterday, Estonian team.
Yep, they did beat Italy, and an extra end. Skipped through the house for the forfeit, actually, for the win.
Pretty exciting game for them. Starting off the World Championships with a win. Must feel pretty nice.
Nice draw to the top of the 4 from Michael Probst. And we'll see the corner guard again. So another traditional curling opening. Fun thing about curling is first few rocks are pretty much the same every end, but after that, just anything can happen.
Line's nice, weight's nice.
You can play curling for 40 years and you might see something you haven't seen before. Kind of like chess in that way. You have a few typical openings, but it's just
nothing
endless possibilities.
Yeah. So we are on sheet C today. Yesterday we got to see 2 games on sheet D. Looks like the weight is pretty similar to yesterday.
Yeah, I was not asking the Norwegian boys. They had splits from backline to hog about 390.
Okay.
Just maybe about, I'm going to guess, about 14.5 seconds hog to hog, almost.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, pretty good speed, but it is a bit straight, perhaps. You'll see Bruce Mount here taking just less than 4 feet ice, and I guess this stone's not actually going to curl all the way to the center line, so
the curl looks the same as yesterday, I think, or at least pretty similar to the in comparison to the other sheet.
I think the most important thing about ice for a championship is the consistency. It's the same every day, so the teams can adjust for the first game or 2, and then and they can trust the fact that the ice is going to be the same as the day before. And if you can do that, you'll see the teams pull out their best.
Generally, the ice makers will tinker with it a little bit, depending on what they think needs to be changed. But from what we can tell, and the comments that we've been receiving, everyone said that the ice has been fantastic to play on. So I don't think the ice makers are going to have to change too much. I did notice yesterday that some of the sweepers were having issues with sweeping some high weight shots.
A little bit slick, perhaps.
A little slick, yeah.
Good chunk, a bit of a stumble here in the first couple of ends for him. Comes up a bit late, crashes on the guard, and will expose the 2 stones of the house. Scotland having a chance to play a hit and roll off their own, removing the red stone in the process. Derek Sloan with the in-turn.
It's a good opportunity for Scotland to get some really good rocks in play.
Oh, wait, guys. Yes! Whoa! Whoa! Hard on this one. Hard and fight. Hard. Go, go, go.
Beautiful shot.
They are.
Yeah. Kind of just splits the yellows in behind cover.
Very nice.
Real good there.
That's what you were looking for.
Very nice.
A peach from Sloan.
Sigh of relief.
Ga je iets met pennen maken?
Lauf dir auf der Gali dort. Wenn du rechts hast.
Ja, wenn ich...
So
müsst ihr eine Nose haben.
Switzerland here is going to look at playing the slash. So their corner red.
Ja, voll. Finde ich gut.
Maybe switching it up.
Gut.
Ja.
I don't mind that call though.
Yeah.
Slash the red in. Yep, there we go.
Well, if you play the slash here and you don't hit any yellows, you're still leaving a corner guard up. And they're both still in behind cover.
I think you can see a little bit of that yellow though from the hack, the corner one, by taking away just the red. If I'm not mistaken. Might not be much.
All right.
Okay.
Stop.
Leaving a double, a possible double now for Switzerland.
Didn't remove any of the yellows on the house, but they've opened things up a wee bit, and as you said, if Switzerland don't, oh sorry, Scotland don't change things up here, they'll have a double.
I mean, if he nails that, he's going to be sitting out. Go there. Out turn.
It looks like they're going to leave the double and just come around the centre guard.
I think that double's really flat.
I think coming around, if they do make the double on their next one, they're sitting behind two covered rocks. Could be tough for Scotland to get out.
Reach me there. Whoa.
I guess they're just going to risk it. Hope for a miss from the Swiss boys.
Yep.
Where?
Because if they don't make the double, and
Then they've got two behind cover.
yeah,
Yep, absolutely.
Back. Yep, right back then. Yep.
maybe a hit and roll to lie 3 in behind the centre guard, so
Hard.
this could pay off.
Go, go, go. Hard.
Not quite finding the line here. Derek Sloan, and slips to the back of the ring.
Okay. That's good.
You throw this hard enough, you might get all 3, but I'm not quite sure if you'll get enough action to do that, though. Maybe all thick.
We shall see.
Haven't seen the stones be too lively. Then again, I don't mind the stones being a little bit dull. Seems like at some championships the stones are just flying everywhere, and it makes it too easy to tidy things up.
Control weight triples.
Yeah, it makes it very hard to get back in a game. So no reason for them to be too lively. They're not. See what he can get here. Yannick Schwaller wants to double at least. Will pick off 2 yellows. That's a pretty good shot.
Yep.
Slides to the back, however, lying second, so Scotland can draw around again.
Ignoring the one in the back.
See, there's not too much space on that second yellow.
Doesn't look a whole lot of ice. That's what I gave Derek.
So I'll just play this draw, Derek Sloan, so Duncan Mingus should have a good idea of the curl and speed. It's all about communicating how you throw a rock, and
Making sure the sweepers know what to do if the line's out or the weight's up a little bit, what your options are.
Where is it, boys? Whoa. Let it sit.
it's looking pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Maybe too good.
Sit.
There we go. Sit.
Almost pops out in the other end.
Nice shot.
Nice shot.
A sweeper's delight.
Yeah. Just dust it in. Maybe a 9 in the morning delay.
Yeah.
Kennen nou zo vast houden im Fall.
Ich würde eher etwas mit dem machen. Sonst hebt er dir den nachher einfach an. Dann
Finde ich okay, No-Step.
wie lange willst du spielen?
A bit of trouble for the Swiss.
Würde ich schon gerne im Fall.
Ja, ich auch, muss.
Ja, voll. Weißt du, kannst du
Außer
auch
wir
so nicht
schiessen.
von
Außer wir schiessen.
Was die Wöller fühlst, ich finde eigentlich den Tap nicht schlecht.
Finde ich auch okay.
Looking to play a tap on the top yellow. I think the concern is if they ever just jam it on the yellow and they might just kind of split and
Outline.
still outcount the red one.
Say not.
So they're going to try and play this one enough pace, I think, to just jam it on purpose and get that back yellow moving.
Or
Maybe-
set up a double on your next. Yeah. It's a little tricky right now, and if you were ever to play that hit and roll and you didn't make it, Scotland's coming around again and might be looking at a 3.
I think they're going to try and keep the weight down here and try and stick the shooter as close to the nose as possible. See what Yannick Schwaller can produce here.
Whoa! Tip! Tip! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Right.
Whoa!
A lot of rotation.
Whoa!
Kurt.
So stones
Whoa.
tend to curl a bit less.
Whoa!
Carry a bit further.
And
Good.
that was the thing they were worrying about,
Ja.
not having enough pace to make me move the heels, but I think it's just enough to be lying first and third shot for
think
the
so.
Swiss.
Yeah.
But like you said, chance now to line 3 doubles on for the Scots.
Yep. Whoa! Whoa! Yep! Whoa! Yep! Whoa! Whoa! Yes! No!
Sounds pretty close, on and off,
On and off.
Whoa!
It's always a good sign.
Carl.
but stuffs it.
Just jams it.
Still 3 yells in the house though. Gonna be a little bit worried if you're from Switzerland.
Yep. They start adding up. Gets a little nerve-wracking.
Achterskant.
Kommen
Also
wir
liegen wir
auf
2. Dann bist du einfach nicht sicher, dass wir auf 2 liegen.
Das ist so, ja.
So we're at
Der
skips.
ist schnell wieder nicht
First
so ganz
rock.
Roll.
Ich auch.
Ja.
Roll finde ich gut.
10,5.
Oder wenn wir explizit auf den Doppel.
Nein, das geht fast nicht.
Gell?
Looks like he's
Wie du
trying to
nimmst
make
immer den
a
roten.
small hit and roll underneath cover.
Das kannst du
Ja,
nicht,
so.
Doppel geht nicht. Ja, ja. Selfie.
Ja, schon nur Stay oder ein Spitzenwinkel.
Ja, voll, finde ich
And
gut.
not with tremendous
Oh,
amount of
I
curl,
love
but that
that
rock
team.
or the guard is
Was?
Wenn wir
high
Stay
enough
machen,
that
wäre
even if he
wahrscheinlich
did roll
That's
under,
all
there'd
so
still be the
big.
possibility of coming down and tapping it back still.
Even if he just
Station
comes to the
guns.
nose here and sits in front of the yellow, it's not terrible.
Nope, not
Knapp
at all.
ganz, ja. 11.
Doesn't look like with that ice, that's what
Ja,
he's
Stay
doing
nicht,
though.
der Roll nach innen an sich gebracht sogar.
He's gonna be playing some higher weight at it.
Well, it did run pretty straight here.
Maybe a board.
Oh! Tip! Oh!
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 Or a barrier.
Tip! Tip!
Oh!
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 Didn't see too much finish on the draws, so this one
Is goed, is goed.
I'm going to finish up for the roll, but the option of just sitting in front of the yellow, it's not too bad for
No.
Romano Meyer.
Not a bad result at all.
Zijn job te zeggen.
Perfekt.
Ja, is extreem riskant toch.
Pretty difficult to remove the red shot stone, so
Gewoon niet meer.
Scotland's just going to draw on the intern.
Try and draw down to that red one.
Echt zwei.
Ah, zo los, ja. Ja, dat gaan we.
Innen geht gar nicht. Innen geht nie, nie.
Sweepers try and wait as long as possible to try and catch that curl. To go around that guard.
Where?
Yeah, when there's not a lot of finish,
Easy, looks here,
it's a little
boys.
tempting to throw the
Let it move if you can. Let it move if you
draw,
can.
what we say, kind of
Yep.
pre-swept.
4 foot. Wait only.
So you don't have to
Good.
really like sweep
Hard
it
then,
from coast to coast, because
Hard,
you'll
boys.
kind of sweep the curl out of the rock.
Switch
Right.
it if you can.
So throw enough weight so you can.
Leave it to the last couple feet to really put pressure in it. What do you think?
I don't know.
Guys think it's Scotland.
That's just a mental thing they do. It's like, yeah, we're shot.
Oh. It's,
Well, looks pretty close.
I think a lot of teams do that. Oh yeah, we're totally shot.
Well, I would never do that, because if I did that to my skip, he'd think he made the shot, and if he didn't, he'd be upset, I think. So, but trying to psych out your opposing team.
I think you'd get benched.
So, not sure if the Swiss boys are know which one is shot.
Come down to theirs.
Finde ich okay, ja. Auch wenn du ein bisschen schnell bist, können wir immer noch den leichten Rücken machen. Genau, ja.
Ausser du tappst. Wirklich nur T-Line. Okay. Weißt du, wenn du so etwas hast? Ja, gut, auch dann.
Ja, ja. Freestyle. Ja. Gut. Gut, top.
Gut.
The Swiss front end staying at the other end. Most teams have the conversation of whether or not they want their front enders involved in the conversation of last shot draws or any of their input on the line or weight. But every team's different. Find their own way that works.
So call the outturn draw here. Just want to come to the inside of their own red. Pretty much an inside freeze. Gotta be a little bit careful though. There's a few spots you can end up, and you might leave a double for 2 or 3. And calling on props to sweep it, get a bit of curl going. I think they're pretty happy with that shot.
Looks like they just grabbed shot.
I wonder if Mount's looking at split, perhaps? With the ice being taken, I wonder if they're going to try and tap their own yellow onto the reds and then spin the shooter into the forfeit. I'm not quite sure if the shot's there, though.
I think that's what they're calling. It would make sense, but you only really want to throw T-line because you don't want to throw too much that if you end up hitting your rock dead nose, you don't want to push it back and give up any steals. Got to play it safe.
Well, as they say in Scotland, you got to risk it for the biscuit.
That's cute.
Seemed like he was calling back 8. But I agree, only throw only T-line and then the sweepers can finish it off for you.
Yep.
They're going hard for line now. Again, sounds pretty close. Gets the rub, but rolls too far, and it's only going to be a 1 for Scotland. That was a very good attempt. Maybe just overswept that one a wee bit.
A little heavy, I think. Bit too much weight, but fantastic shot, nonetheless.
So Scotland still trailing after 3 ends. Swiss with a 1-point lead and last on advantage.
Still early on in the game, but having a hammer and the even ends and being 1 up is still advantage for Switzerland.
Estonia is having a tough day against Sweden.
Yeah.
Sweden stole another 2 to make it 6-0. Well,
Seen a few members of their team actually slip and fall. Maybe this sheet is a little bit slicker than the other ones.
Korea, Italy, they've blanked again, so still 2-0 for Korea. USA, Norway also blanked the third end, so USA still leading 2-1. And also a blank between Russia and Canada in the third end, so Canada still on a 2-0 lead.
Halfway. Whoa. Room. All
If
there.
you're just joining us, this is the
Halfway
World Junior
shot.
Curling Championships 2015
curl,
from Tallin, Estonia. And
High.
the men's second draw, Scotland playing Switzerland. Both teams winning their first game yesterday.
Right. Fine.
And a repeat from last year.
Yep, last year's final was Scotland playing Switzerland. Pretty much the same Swiss team, but Scotland with some fresh faces, as you said. Well, Switzerland won both the games last year, so maybe Scotland needs a few fresh faces to beat these guys. Mix it up a wee bit.
Switzerland has and Scotland. They've got a lot of really good teams in the country. Fantastic programs, and you're going to see a lot of really good teams come out of those two countries.
Wade's nice. Whoa. Yeah.
So starting off the fourth end here.
Okay, it's getting better. Okay, line's good. Line's good. Line's good. Whoa, still big actually.
Scotland's got one center guard, but it does just kind of get off the line there, so it doesn't do them as much good as they had hoped, but a nice freeze there on his second.
Scotland and Switzerland, two of the most successful nations at the World Juniors. The men's competition being hosted since 1975. Canada on top with 17 gold medals. Scotland trailing with 9 golds in second place. Switzerland in 5th place, just behind Sweden. Both Sweden and Switzerland with 5 gold medals. Sweden has a few more silver medals. Maybe Switzerland can creep up the ranking with a gold medal this year.
Yep.
They'll be in front of Sweden.
Very positive.
I think the Canadian boys here are looking at a little redemption from last year as well.
If you come here, that's fine.
Try and get on the podium.
Coming down.
They played their bronze medal game yesterday from last year against the Norwegians, and having a pretty easy game for the Canadians. They were pretty dominant most of the way through, not leaving Norway with many chances. But first game of the round robin, everyone's getting used to the ice and the conditions, and I don't think we're going to see those scores later on during the week.
A lot of tough teams in the competition. Maybe 10-15 years ago, you see a few teams just drop all their games, and it was a bit of a cakewalk. As we see, a really nice shot here. Clears things up, but does leave Scotland a chance to head and lie too.
Very nice shot.
So things are opening up by the juniors. 11 different nations have medalled the competition, and Canada and Scotland not dominating as much as they have been in prior years.
High! High! High!
A Last time Canada won was in 2012.
Fine.
Brendan
Just grip
Botcher
something.
won the gold medal for
Oh.
Canada.
For the men. Last year, the women taking the
Yeah.
gold, though, from Canada. Kelsey Rock. Yep,
And she's back.
she is.
Nuni
Yep.
squat.
She's got a new team. But same skip. She's got loads of experience. Looking to take home that world championship again, I'm sure.
So Scotland rolls out and leaves Wheatchonka with an open hit. So kind of the same story as in the second end. We had a few stones in play, but
That was a close one, though, on that one.
all of a sudden everything's gone.
Yep.
And now Scotland's throwing up a guard and just hoping for a miss. And I don't think we're going to see too many simple mistakes from the Swiss, but we're going to have to try. Calling the centre guard, Bruce Mowat. Last time Scotland won the gold medal was back in
Hard, boys.
Sochi, 2013. Kyle Smith won, beating Russia, the host nation.
Bravo, hast du Bescheid? Passe.
And we're just going to look at appeal here. Just make it go away. Keep it open.
Clean. Easy. Easy.
Easy.
Easy. Turn up.
Yannick Schwaller's uncle Andy Schwaller, also the national coach for Switzerland.
Yeah.
European champion
Yeah, I
as
like
well,
that.
remembering playing a cool draw to the forfeit for the gold medal in 2006 European Championships.
I think you'll probably play the intern anyway, but
Your memory is
same way or
unbelievable. Wish I had a memory like yours.
That was a memorable moment. I'm
Thank
sure
you,
Yannick
watching the
Schwaller
race,
is
boys.
watching
Yeah.
and
Line's okay.
hard, boys.
Wee bit
probably
tight.
inspired.
Hard, boys.
Sure helps a
Don't
lot
sweat,
having
don't
a
sweat.
curling family
Absolutely.
of
Eric's all the way.
that caliber.
Yep, that's fine.
Didn't think it was that much lighter. Yep.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa. Easy. Easy.
Easy.
Just in the house. I think we'll go edge of 4. Yeah. So intern.
So Bruce Mowat again. This time
Right. So intern.
I think he's just drawing the house.
Yep.
Nice technique.
T-line. Derek.
Yeah, all these boys, they've got some pretty good coaching. Got Soren Gran on the bench back there. He's, of course, Murdoch's coach.
Romano Meyer. Just with the open hit now then.
Whoa, weg. Easy.
No problem. It's nice to make these simple shots, just to know that you're on it.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Scotland looking to reciprocate and just maybe roll a little bit more towards the middle. Making sure your shooter stays in the rings though, so that it forces the Swiss team to make the hit and roll out, or else getting an easy force.
Prefer leaving the shot on the center line to make the roll as long as possible, or on the wing to force them play out in the weeds?
We usually did towards the center just to make it a longer roll, but I think it could be very team dependent. Maybe if the other skip was struggling with the wings, then maybe we would look to rolling over there instead. But
I wonder if there should be a stat for that.
Who's our stats guy?
Well, Jerry Jertz on curlingzone.com has a lot of stats, but I'm not sure if he has that one.
There we go. Gary.
Get Jerry on it.
Yeah, Jerry, we're looking for some stats. Let us know if you can help us.
So the blank attempt for Romano Meyer here in the fourth end. Last stone coming down the sheet.
Looks pretty good. Just cleaning it.
Picks it off, and Switzerland will retain hammer.
Top.
2-1 for the Swiss still. And as I look at the scoreboard closest to us, Sweden has stole
another two.
So that makes it 4 times in a row they've taken 2. 8-0 for the Swedish boys. Really handing it to the Estonian guys. So a bit of a rough start this morning for them. Sweden also maybe one of the playoff candidates.
Yep.
Italy scored 1 in the fourth end against Korea. Still trailing by 1. Korea having a 2-1 lead between USA and Norway. They just finished the end, so I'll get back to you on that. But between Russia and Canada, Russia took 1 in the fourth end. Canada with last stone and a 1-point lead, 2-1 in the fifth end.
Nice. Line's still good.
Empire put a single up on Norway. So Norway scored 1, making it a tie game at 2 each between USA and Norway. As we enter the fifth end in our future game between Switzerland and Scotland.
Nice tight guard.
Nice one, Goose.
Hier. Achtung. Acht hier. Dranblijven. Tip.
Swiss are gonna beat them to the middle. It looks like they're gonna slip a little bit too far.
Go. Okay.
Good chunk of sweeping it a little bit further back, just so there's room for 2 more rocks in there. Don't want to be right, just like an inch behind the button.
Worst spot.
This is often how messy end starts out.
Behind the tee line?
Yeah, a bit of a deep draw, and maybe this one comes onto it. There's another draw, and it just builds up.
Yep.
Your line's good.
Seen that many times before.
Placements of lead rocks are so key.
Yep. Hard.
Nice weight here, not
Nice shot.
on the red, but finds a nice spot on the button. Nice angles though. Switzerland can't really play a hit on this and roll to the wing, so they're going to have to draw again. Going to try and find the inside of the yellow.
Veel plaats. Veel plaats. Oh. Nee. Nee. Oh.
T-line.
Oh.
Weer besser. Voor de 4.
Hanging out there so far.
Nog veel.
4.
Nee. Genau hier freeze. Kijk eens.
Passing the guard.
Weight looks pretty good though.
Oh.
That's not the best angle, but
No.
it'll work for now.
Kunnen.
Goed.
Mout calling another drop, so gonna have a packed house here.
Yep. So I think Scotland's gonna try and just kind of release their yellow a bit,
Close.
taking off the angle.
Right off.
Sweeper's backing off it. Looking a bit high at the moment.
Okay.
Well, not quite where they were looking for it.
Yeah. The face says it all.
Vind je net slaagt, joh?
Quite what he was hoping for.
Center hoektoer is nu, hoor.
Vind je niet zo slecht? De andere waren daar.
Center.
Dan daar hier nog. Ik vind het daar goed.
Vind ik goed.
Zo, wenn wir nur so machen, ist okay. Stay is eigentlich gut. 10,5. Destroyed.
Chunker with the hit and roll. A lot of weight on the shot.
Okay,
Works out neatly. Angles are decent.
Yep. Sitting there was fine.
And Scotland's called for the same shot, really. Hit the stop red and just roll towards the center line. Still line shot.
Push. Yep. Yes.
Calling on the sweepers this time, Bruce Mount.
High. Yep. Yep.
Over curls it and rolls a bit too far.
Better roll that.
So
Sets up the double now. Sweeper should have probably stayed a little closer to that one to try and roll that one so that it was even, or if anything, a touch behind. But sometimes it's hard to tell how much things are going to roll. You don't know the line as a sweeper, but making sure you stay with it till the end.
So a nice chance for a Chunker here to play the in-off double. And lie 3, perfect shot.
Nice shot.
It's all behind the center line though, or right in behind the center guard, so Scotland still has a chance to make it a bit tricky for the Swiss.
You could do.
I like
Back
that.
weight. Okay, just back 8. Right. Go for it.
Back 8, wait.
Just push it a little bit so that if they do try and throw the slash on the one on the top 4, they run the risk of jamming it on the back ones.
Push. Yep. Yes. Whoa. Yes. Yes.
go! Hard! Never off it! No roll. Okay.
Little too much of a roll.
Go.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, good.
Well, chance for Switzerland to lie 4 now. But I think they're still going to have to squeak past the guard here. Nice, a little speed sensitive. If you throw a bit too much, it's not really going to get that finish.
Let's do this clear for you. Give me a clear again. Okay.
Wow. Great shot.
Close. Perfect shot.
And now Scotland in some real trouble. Nice execution from Schwaller.
Dead hot.
You got to play Kyle
get a
Smith
little
again
chip
this
in.
season. The same team they beat last year in the gold medal game. They played him at the Swiss Cup Basel in October. Did not make the playoffs, however, in the triple knock system. Usi Pavalniemi knocked him out.
Ooh. It's a longer last name than mine.
Usi Pavalniemi, Markku. Of course, silver medalist from 2006, losing out to Gushu in the final. Still on the tour.
Yep.
So it's good for these young teams to play a few old heroes. I learn a thing or two.
This is looking a bit scary for Scotland right now.
Yeah, I'd say the only upside for Scotland here is all the 4 reds are in behind the tee line, so
Yeah.
they, one good freeze can maybe save the end, but Swiss boys have one shot to go before Scotland can do anything. So of course they're going to try and put one in front of the tee line this time.
Try and block off the freeze.
Yeah, so they're just looking at every possibility for Scotland to
Make sure they're not leaving them in out, because I'm sure they would love to score multiple this end. They've definitely been in control so far. So.
Well, we saw Estonia with a good chance of scoring a bunch against Scotland in the women's draw yesterday,
That's
and
true.
Jean Aiken played a perfect freeze to
That's
just
true.
ruin
Bailed
everything.
them out.
And Estonia had to draw for 1, so still a chance for the Scottish boys to save this end, but they're going to have to be accurate. Just like Yannick Schwaller was with his first shot in this end. Just squeaked past the guard to line 4. Really nice shot. Now he's going to take off some weight. Just played the cool draw to the top of the 4. Does not want to slip in behind T-line here.
Your tolerance on this one is to be anywhere above the rings. Or the tee line, sorry.
He's got his sweepers working, that for sure. But maybe being a bit too tolerant on this shot. Being a bit careful. And now 2 guards up there, really leaving it out for Scotland to come on the other side and play a little hit and roll, perhaps.
Yeah. This is definitely the out that they were hoping for.
No, they're not really playing a draw, though. I think they're looking at playing a double plus the roll.
Double and roll, yeah.
So just trying to limit the damage, even if you get a stone in there with a nice draw. Of course, Switzerland might have a run back or something, so.
Can't guard or can't protect everything, but.
Taking just about like 0 ice here for the shot.
Look like negative ice.
Yep.
Whoa! Whoa!
Perfect shot.
Good shot. Doesn't only removes one red, but
He's in behind cover though.
yep, and with some backing as well. Yannick's first thought was to come off the wide yellow.
Okay.
Halbe.
Okay.
Halbe bis ein Drittel, so.
Good.
Seems to be the call still. I'm going to catch this yellow shot stone pretty much on the side. And you're still going to leave everything behind the tee line, but
Even if he just hits and rolls over a bit, he can use that on his next rock to try and slash it over.
Oh, nein, nein.
so Romano wire.
Tip.
Maybe a bit wide on this one. Yannick calling off the sweepers now. They're on it. No, not very close that
No.
from Meyer. Wanted to catch the inside of the rock, but rolls out instead.
If you get there, I mean, you've got to play a run.
And now I know Scotland actually in a really nice position to steal, in fact. So
If they can get one in their top button, then
I've been giving you that.
Switzerland's going to have a really tough shot to try and get their point.
Yeah.
if you're a little bit cheeky, you come right to the top of the button,
Right.
and you can steal two.
The only thing that Switzerland would have would be the run on their own.
Seemed like Duncan Mingus was pointing at the top of the four. I'd be tempted to draw all the way down there, though.
I think probably Skip's thinking top 8, and then sweepers will take care of the rest.
Line is important as well, though.
Yeah.
If you stay a little bit high, it might be a double, a run double for three,
Line is
perhaps.
Whoa.
very, very important in this shot.
Yep.
So, going to be fairly close to the guard here.
Looks a touch light.
Line's looking fairly decent.
Oh,
That's a really nice
wow,
draw.
nice throw.
And I wonder if the Swiss boys are just going to look at the run back right away. This end really turned around, didn't it?
Really turned around. Eating my words from before.
Einmal gefahren, dass wir auf.
Weiß nicht.
Just takes one miss.
Als du vorher über die Nase rein würde es auch noch gehen. He? Ja, komm, spiel über den, ist sicherer, oder?
Ja, Ausstrahl, was du Dings abhängst. Finde ich auch gut.
Gut.
Romano Meyer was not very accurate with the high hard one on his first try. And seems to be fairly confident of making the run back though. Yannick Schwaller looking at options, but I'm not sure if you have a lot of options, to be honest. So he's going to hit this red one, run it back onto the yellows, try and double them away. You might score a couple. I think they'll be happy just to score the one though if they can manage. At least make contact with one yellow here. Last stone of the fifth end. Pressure shot from Romano Meyer. Sounds pretty close. Oh.
Okay.
That is
Steal of 1 for Scotland to make it a tie ball game.
very close to making it though. Got a bit too thick. I think they'll be happy enough only to give up the one though. And that's 5 ends played. We're halfway there, tied up. And can't wait for the next 5 ends. It's going to be an interesting game.
Already has been.
So that's a score. Switzerland with a steal of 2 in the first end, but Scotland clawing their way back. The Swiss will have the hammer for the 6th end, and Both teams just off with for a 5-minute break now to talk with their coaches and maybe replenish with some food and drinks. We're going to take a few minutes break too. We'll be back with a few highlights on the first 5 ends and also the remainder of the game here at the World Junior Curling Championships. Taking a look at the highlights here. First end, 3 Swiss stones in the house. Bruce Mount looking for a little hit and roll, but he rolls the wrong way, rolls all the way out, and Switzerland steals 2 to shock the Scots. Second end was blanked. In the third, we had a few rocks in play. Bruce Mount with a delicate split for 2. Doesn't quite come off, rolls a bit too far. This time as well, scores 1. Swiss still needing 2 shots to win after 3. Another blank in the fourth. We skip to the fifth. And Switzerland was looking to maybe score 4 or 5. A few misses really changed the end around. Now Romano Meyer playing the run back. Doesn't quite come off, and Scotland steals 1, and we're all tied up after 5 ends. So seems like we're back on it now. Actually, the clocks start running about there, so Scotland a bit late out on the ice to start off the game. Thinking time, of course, so you don't want to spend too much time here with your lead rocks. For the first rock of every end, should be spending exactly 0 seconds.
Yes.
It's about now spending a whole bit of time, but they have about 21.5 minutes left on the clock, so no big worry for the Scots. So just getting composed here for the out turn draw. Back in action You're listening to Sandervåg, myself, and Alison Kraviazik
Nice.
sitting next to me. I'm so happy she's here.
Are you?
I'm very happy.
Okay. I was just testing you.
World-class
Seeing if
player
you're
sitting
awake.
next to me.
Right off then.
Makes me a little nervous.
Hey, you're the one with the gold medal around your neck. Should interview you. What's it like to win a gold medal, Sander?
It was weird.
It's a pretty fantastic achievement.
Well,
Of course, Sander just winning the gold at the World Universiade Games. Huge accomplishment.
Ingen ser godt.
As he sits with a big grin on his face. Of course it is.
just
really,
all
really
awkward.
cool. It feels surreal to say still, or?
No, just awkward. You know, just bragging about me.
Oh, right. We talked about that yesterday. It's not the Norwegian way, right?
Yeah. You, of course, just played on the best women's team ever.
Well, I don't know about ever, but they definitely do work very hard. That's for sure.
Alison playing second for Rachel Holman. We just saw them play at the Scotties, not quite qualifying. Jones made it through to the World Championships in Sapporo. But of course, we're all about the juniors this week.
Yes.
And
The teams that we will see later on in the future move up to the men's and the women's championships.
we've seen that a few times.
Yep.
Sorry, Goose.
My junior days, I remember playing the World Juniors in 2011, and the two teams ahead of me on the podium was none other than Oscar Eriksson, who won a silver medal at the Worlds last year, and Peter de Cruz lost the final, and they got the bronze medal at the Worlds last year. So teams are stepping up.
Some
And
familiar faces.
And also Brendan Mocher, we mentioned earlier on the broadcast, winning the gold in 2012. They've really stepped up, or himself at least, has done quite well.
Coming second in the Alberta final this year. Coming really close. They've had an unbelievable season.
They're playing a few slams, and it's just nice to see the juniors stepping up right away. Also a few of the Russian players that got the silver medal in Sochi 2 years ago, sporting at the Olympics. So you might just see these guys.
Many years to come.
Yep. And like we mentioned, fifth man for the Swiss boys last year. No, sorry, this year. Reto Keller playing fourth last year. He will represent Switzerland at the World Championships in Halifax.
Very exciting.
Clean.
Derek Sloan,
Clean.
second for Scotland here. Looking for a little hit and roll.
Oh.
Nice shot there.
Good, Derek.
Lines them up.
Great separation between the two.
Patrick Wichonka with the double here, just trying to run the first yellow back onto the other. Doesn't quite make it, but rolls underneath the corner guard. I'd say that's just as good.
Yep.
Didn't seem too happy, but I'd say I'd be pretty
darn
happy with
good.
that result.
Yeah. Especially with Switzerland with hammer this end. It's good to roll towards the wings, keep the center open.
And it seems like Scotland's playing a draw here. Maybe just placing this at the top of the 8 foot around the corner.
Yep. Whoa. No.
Try and sit
No.
two
Right
and
off.
block off the draw around the corner for Switzerland.
Just top 8, top 12. Where you want it?
Right up here. Angus. It's got a curl.
It doesn't want to lie in the open,
Fine, Derek.
leaving a hit and roll for Switzerland. I think they might have done that. Kind of hard to tell. We're sitting a bit on the side here.
Yeah, the faces really give us a good indication on whether or not the shot was was made or missed, and he doesn't look too happy with the shot, but
I think the call here is to roll towards the centre line in front of the other yellow in the house.
yeah, I like that call.
Whoa, you know. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Forcing the other team to make the harder shot.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Nope.
It makes it harder for Scotland to separate their yellows.
Yep.
You're going to be very grouped, so you might leave a double for the Swiss to lie to. So
Definitely setting themselves up very nicely.
Yep. Whoa.
Duncan Mingus with a
Yep.
real solid performance last year's lead. Third this this time around. Plays a nose head. That's a good shot.
Very good. Making the double quite tricky. Without not able to make the double and stay in the ring, so they're electing to just make the roll over top, leaving Scotland at risk of jamming on their back one.
Nee, voor de draag. Dus voor onze 4 voetlinie. Die eerste 4 voetlinie.
Whoa. Whoa.
Tip,
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 push,
Hard
Yep.
scrub.
tip,
tip,
hard,
tip. Nog een, nog een, nog een.
wow,
Sit, sit.
sit.
Nice shot.
Schön, ist gut.
Not directly in front of what he was wanting, but still in a really good spot where, again, they're setting up the double.
Loose. Yep.
Yeah, hard.
Yes!
Hard! Hard!
Hard!
Hard, guys! Hard!
Really hard!
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 Hard! Nick it.
Jams it. And now the Swiss, they won't get what they were looking for.
Yep.
Hit to lie 2. They're going to check to the wing.
With quite a bit of separation, and of course the other one being partially buried, it makes things a little bit trickier for Scotland now.
You know, if Yannick Schwaller can roll to the wing, the roll back in behind cover is going to be very long. And Scott's just hoping he'll play the nose hit here. So, you know, you really want to roll. You can't really roll out either.
Whoa.
Whoa, weg, weg,
Whoa,
weg,
whoa, whoa.
He's
weg,
calling the sweepers off.
Whoa.
kant weg,
Weg.
weg.
Easy.
And will it sit? I don't think so. It rolls out. Bit of a mistake, but still not completely over for the Swiss. You have that rock in behind cover.
So now Scotland with the opportunity to draw around this corner rock here.
It's a tough draw too, because not only you need to pass the guard, you need to pass the stone at the top of the house. So you really have to squeak past it to get in behind cover. You might have to come in behind the tee line, and if you do, you're going to leave a draw for the Swiss.
Even go back 12. It's only half in the ring.
And still give them that opportunity to score the deuce. So tricky shot, but definitely a makeable one. So we'll see what we get.
Where? Whoa. Switch if you can.
Switch.
Switch, guys.
Whoa, it's not curling.
Curl it. Curl it, Angus.
Curl it. Yep, right back.
Right back's
Go
fine.
right back.
Hard. Hard, Goose. Hard! Hard!
Right back.
Coming by the top guard by quite a bit, so they're going to drag this as far back as they possibly can to try and tuck a piece.
Okay, Bruce.
And looks like it might be fully open.
Alright, just take Curl. Go nice,
Of course, one sweeper behind the tee line there.
Some teams tend to forget that from time to time.
Take 2 inches less to make Curl. 2 more.
It's easy to be caught up in the moment and just want to sweep as much as you can.
Well, I do corporate events in the rink sometimes, and it seems like that's the thing everyone wants to do.
Just
So there are usually
sweep.
4 people on sweeping the in behind the tee line.
Everyone's just really excited.
Just want to sabotage. But of course, curling is a fair play game. It's all about making your own shots, not hoping for misses and mistakes from the opponent.
Nice shot.
No mistake from Romano Meyer here. Really setting himself up for a deuce. And
He looks very cool, calm, and collected out there. Like he just looks like he's got things under control.
I'm happy to play whatever you want.
now, if I was Bruce Mowat, I'd probably just hit the back one and give up the 2.
I would too.
Just considering how the ice is, it's kind of hard to get in behind cover.
I mean, he did just throw this shot, so he does know the weight, and they do know the line, but at the same time, it is quite high risk. You run the risk of giving up 3, and in the 6th end, it does make it a little bit trickier to come back from.
So,
There we go.
yeah,
Changing the call. The sweeper changed his mind.
Derek Sloan conversing with Bruce, saying, "Hey,
What do you think about this one?
can't we just hit the back one? Well, I don't want to be 3 down." So, you have changed the call. And you never know, you might get a mistake from Romano Meyer.
Clean. Whoa. Clean.
Well, firstly, he needs to
Clean. Whoa.
stick the shooter himself, Bruce. Just a nose hit here would do.
Clean. Whoa.
Sweeper's right off.
That works.
There we go.
Playing the safer option.
As much as you don't want to give up 2, it sure is a heck of a lot better than giving up 3. Sometimes you just have to concede your deuce and
Beats me.
try again next end.
I think a big thing about curling is just looking at the scoreboard and thinking, what can we afford to concede, and
Yeah.
you know, risk versus reward.
Yep.
And although giving up 2 in the 6th end is not what you really want to do, but if you're 3 behind against these guys, I think you're gonna have a big problem. So
Nee, met voorhand met een 2-jährigen drin. Met irgendwann so roll, met in de top, we zien immer auf een
after 6 ends of play,
Also, ja. Das zweite ist 3.
Vind je sehr goed, ja.
Aschine. Doch, meine schaut op.
Okay.
Ah nee, wees nog meine.
there we go, 4-2. Switzerland in the lead. Scotland with some work to do. Michael Probst will kick off this 7th end.
Adi! Vor 4, Jungs.
Warte noch ein bisschen. 8.
Ist noch sehr weit.
8.
Muss 4 haben.
8.
Ist gut, Linie bis 4. Bis 4. Bis 4.
Fantastic sweeping out there. These guys, they just look like they're giving it all that they got. Really putting as much pressure down on the brush as they can.
Well, the lead rocks are just as important as the rest of them.
Setup is very important. You try and throw a guard on your first, and you slip into the rings, and the end's over. Easy as that.
So,
of course, that's not what they were doing there. I was just setting an example.
yeah, so I'm just looking to draw the house. They're up 2.
Yep.
Scotland now with the corner guard, and I wonder if Switzerland likes their shot stone here, and if they want to guard it, they might just want to bring it to the top of the 4. No, they're going to have a center guard. Always nice to have a center guard, I think. If you don't have hammer, you got something to play around with. If you bring both the red stones in the house, you know, and you're allowing Scotland to move them very early in the end.
Yep.
But it's not a very
able to do the hit and roll off of the ones, so it's or even just jiggle them around to freeze to something later on. But what did he elect to do here?
Now it seems like maybe they're tapping the red.
Okay. Get some separation between the two, but it still gives Scotland the chance to do the hit and roll behind their corner.
A split, perhaps, actually.
Okay.
Easy.
I don't know if that's a great result. I usually much prefer keeping both stones on the center line. I see some teams, they tend to draw around the corner to block off the draw.
Yeah.
I don't
and I think
usually
that's
like
what
that call.
Their goal there was to kind of beat them around, but Scotland's trying to throw the corner freeze here. It is a tough shot. If they at all bounce off, mind you, it is almost actually fully open on the other side, eh?
Yep.
I think just draw around the corner here, guard here, and fly side by side with the redstone. That's a pretty good result.
Yep.
Making sure there's no slash, since the other red is open.
Working hard for line.
Oh.
Gets a little rub.
Finish it. Sweet.
Slips to the back of the rings.
Looks like it might have needed that rub, though. Probably would have been quite heavy. Back 12.
At least if you're going to be heavy, you might as well be tight.
There you go.
Hij is einfach auf 2, wenn wir nur Karte haben.
Maar nog een 5 staan, aber ja.
And Yannick thinking, well,
Ik vind dat kunnen we proberen.
which stone is more dangerous to us? The stone in the house or the corner guard?
Dahinter.
Zo wil je zeker niet.
Very often the guard's the call.
Oh, is ook goed, ja.
Schiessen is goed.
Oké.
If he does call the back one, then oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Because if you call the back one, you're just leaving Scotland in the same draw again,
Yeah,
and to make one better.
Yeah.
So, you know, I like picking off the guard here. We chunk it. And then turn peel, gonna have to try and maneuver this yellow past the reds. Does that nicely.
Very good.
Now are they freezing the shot stone perhaps?
That's what I think.
Lewis.
What'd you get? What'd you get?
Sweeper's backing off.
Bumping.
Well,
Be a touch heavy.
Coming
line's
down.
good. Line's really good. Yep, make sure.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, super
There we
friendly.
go. Just giving them a break.
That looked like it was absolutely flying. Goose. Looked like it was flying compared to your one.
Oh, they're now going to play around with that freeze from Derek Sloan. He's going to hit the open one.
Smart.
Knowing that Scotland's going to have to make a play on those 2 stones on the forfeit.
Since the Swiss rock is shot.
Jetzt haben wir gut gehalten. Fertig. Können wir einfach andere abgucken? Hä? Ja.
Huh? I don't like moving it right now. Either that or that.
Throwing a
Throwing a freeze.
Weight's all there.
He made his first one.
Yep.
Okay, come
Maybe
round it.
confident of him making another one,
Yep.
perhaps.
Throw
On the
it.
out turn, though.
Oh, okay.
Always
on
a
it.
bit,
Line's all right.
doesn't feel as comfy freezing stones in the top to 12. I don't feel like you do that too often.
Right, that's fine.
Not too bad.
Selfie.
Probably would have been nice to corner freeze on it instead. Lie third.
Switzerland now going to change things up a wee bit. They're going to just play a nose hit on the yellow, remove the back red, and just sit on top themselves.
Das ist, glaube ich, ja. Stay bis ein bisschen innen.
Tip, whoa, tip, whoa,
Tip.
tip,
Wow!
tip,
Tip!
tip,
Tip!
tip,
Tip!
tip, 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 wieder, wieder. Nog een. Oké, net zo slag.
Well, doesn't quite
Joy.
sit on top
Well, nose isn't bad.
of the yellow
Okay.
rock.
Nose.
Okay.
Bounces off, and Scotland has a
You can
chance
go
to
here.
hit and
Fine.
roll away,
I like nose.
get some separation.
Yeah, let's play the slash.
Okay.
Double's pretty steep.
Okay.
So he was just saying that if he tries to nose that one, thinks that the angle on the double is a little too steep.
Loose.
If that's
Yep.
the case, very often,
Whoa.
if you just roll a foot away,
Yep.
makes the double
Whoa.
easier.
A little easier, yeah.
So you either make the nose hit or the
Yep,
perfect
yep,
roll.
yes.
Anything in between just makes it worse, and I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
It's a tiny roll, just make the double a lot easier.
Yep.
Oh, that's an easy double, eh?
You would like to stick around here, though. If you catch it a bit too thick, you might just spin up and out with the shooter and leave a hit to lie 2 for Scotland. So if you catch this one skinny enough, you might set 2.
Mm-hmm. So it would have been nice if they had gotten shot on their top 12 rock.
Tip, whoa,
But
whoa. Achtung, tip,
everything's in hindsight, right?
Tip, once.
Well, it does
Yeah.
roll up and out, and probably still a little optimistic there. Maybe wanting to sweep the rock back, but hey.
Can't blame them for trying.
Nope. So did catch it all a bit thick, and I think Scotland has a chance to split the house. Looks like they're playing a draw though. Drawing around those staggered rocks perhaps. Duncan Mingus on the out turn.
Where is it?
Where?
Where?
Whoa!
Right off it then. Where is it, Angus? Where?
Whoa!
Where?
Whoa! Whoa! No!
Back four's
Looking a little
good.
bit hot at the moment.
Yeah, I think so.
Just gonna sit there for a third shot. Not too bad.
Yeah, what split was it?
Does for Switzerland to come after it.
So,
Yep.
Squatto.
Yep.
Freeze hinderen, hè?
Zo van de Ries is eigenlijk goed.
Wie verdacht? Is goed. Dit soort hier.
Tiagli!
Niet genoeg. Nog weer lang, jongens.
Hoe is er? Tiap, tiap, tiap. Tiap. Roeling, roeling. Roeling. Freeze, gauw. Freeze. Freeze. Freeze, freeze. Freeze, freeze. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Nice shot. Lies for a second shot, too. He's on fire today.
Yeah, he's had a good game, Meyer. Making some key shots. Had a few simple mistakes, but I'd rather see my skip rolling out on
Yeah, we're going to try and freeze. I might have that shot again.
rolling out on a few not so important shots and rather making those key ones.
Absolutely.
No, just back to it, I think.
Looking at the stats, Romano Meyer's at a solid 92% so far in the game.
That makes sense.
Bruce Mount himself playing 85.
Yep, yep. Hard. Hard, boys.
Scotland is outscoring Switzerland by 3% at the moment,
Hard,
so
boys.
perhaps those key shots are making a difference.
Yep.
Hard.
Whoa!
Go, go,
Few
go.
percentage difference.
Whoa!
Definitely shows.
This is not going to help Bruce Mount's
No.
stats. Rex on the top, and now
I'm going to go.
for a second time in the game, Switzerland a chance to lie 3. You know, remember that's what happened in the first end, and Bruce Mount rolled out on the hit and stick for 1, and Swiss stole 2.
Steep is licht naar links.
Oh. Oh. Achtung.
Weg.
Achtung.
Tiap.
Easy, whoa. Easy.
Whoa.
Tip, 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 tip. Okay.
Verder.
Nice shot. And Bruce Mount calls the draw right away, but Duncan Mingus stopping him from going to the hack, saying, well, you could maybe play the hit.
As long as we're this side of nose, we always get shot.
Well,
If your skip wants to play the draw, then It's usually their first instinct is what they want to throw, and sometimes you just kind of gotta let them. If they feel confident in the draw, then take the draw. If they're a little iffy on what the draw weight is right now, then it is definitely best to play the hit. Less of a risk of giving up a few points, but
well, as a vice skip, you just feel like you want to offer
yeah.
options, and if you feel like your skip maybe hasn't looked at the other option, you just want to say you could play this, but if he shakes it off, you should just agree. And
Where is it?
I think the draw is the right shot to play.
Where?
He just played a draw with his first shot.
Yep.
So it should be close.
Hard. Hard, guys. Hard.
Sweeping it really hard, though. Are we going to make it?
Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Hard.
Really, really brushing
Go,
hard.
go, go. Get it there.
Looks good.
Yeah, they got it.
Good sweep.
Good draw. Well swept, and finds the forfeit for one, but still trailing the Swiss. Still to have been in the lead in the game, Scotland. And a big advantage for Switzerland with a 1 point lead and hammer in the 8th end. The Scots going to have to do some work to pull this one back.
In between the sheets, we've got some big ends. Well, we've got Sweden taking a win over Estonia, 10-1 after 7 ends.
He stole 2 in the 5th as well, stealing 2 in the first 5 ends of the game.
Pretty dominant game for Sweden, for sure. We've got Korea taking a 3 in the 5th end, so they're up 5-3 with hammer going into 8. Just giving up a steal in the 7th end, but it looked like they had a double to try and take a couple, but I think he had just missed it there. And Russia taking a 5 over Canada. I don't know what happened that end, but it doesn't sound like it was too good. So we've got a 6-3 lead for Russia over Canada going into 8th end.
We saw a 5-ender on that sheet yesterday as well. Sweden.
That's true.
Took a 5. So
is this another trend?
Another trend. Scores of 5 on sheets. Is it Echo?
Derek.
I don't know where Alpha even starts, to be honest. I think Echo.
Hard. Swing it. Come on, gotta go.
Oh, Alpha. Sheet Alpha.
Okay.
My apologies.
Yeah.
If you're Scotland now, I think you're going to have to go for a steal.
Yep. Yeah, taking 1 and 8 this end is definitely going to be something that's going to be their end goal, I would imagine. Having scrums in between ends is a fantastic time for teams to talk about their end goals and what they need to accomplish.
Do you ever consider putting a 2 center guards up in this end? You're just forced to play along the center line?
I would. Yeah. You?
Yep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. Just make sure there's
always
gonna
a guard.
Making
sure they're lined up so there's no double available.
Only going with the single guard though, Scotland on this end.
Okay.
You might. If there's no score on this end, you might see them put the double center guards up in the 9th end.
Top 8, top 8. Yep. Sweet.
Switzerland putting a really nice one on the top 4 foot.
Hard.
So maybe perhaps putting some pressure on Scotland to get another one in there.
Line's perfect. Keep it coming.
This one looks like it's
digging.
Oh, dragging it pretty nicely. Great shot.
Well swept again.
Yep. 2 really good sweeping teams out there. You can tell they're working hard when you look at them after they come back down the sheet and they're gasping for air. That's what you want.
Whoa. Back line.
Diep.
Back line. Out.
Diep. Diep.
Back
Diep.
line.
Back line out. Diep. Diep. Gotta go.
Out.
Diep. Deep top. Sehr schön.
There we go.
Tip top, says the Yannick Schwaller.
Yeah,
Means a great shot.
exactly what they wanted.
It means good.
Yeah.
Got the same expression in Norway.
Yeah.
Back 4.
We don't use it very often.
Tip top?
Tip top.
I guess you could say that in English. Tip-top shape. I don't know if anyone really uses that anymore, though. Well, can't speak for everyone, but I don't use it.
Oh, Derek Sloan.
Weights up.
Close.
I guess we're just
Should be
looking
back
for
line.
Right off then.
a
Coming
whole
down.
tap, perhaps.
Weights pretty close.
No.
It's all an angles game here. Looking a little hot, perhaps. That's
Yeah.
not what they were looking
Okay.
for.
Fine.
Looking to get more of the
That's
rock
fine there.
across center so that it wouldn't roll into the open and
Eenval zo.
De Gaal Zilo.
push the red
Mr.
behind the
Zila.
guard.
Nee, dat is mijn vraag. Wat
Ah, nee, we gaan nou na. We gaan doof daar.
Seems to be the wrong side of the inch is the
Dat was zo niet
tough
zo
thing
zwaar.
for
We
this
hebben de
game.
rug bis zu hinderen heen.
Scottish guys are so
Aan de
close.
spelen en deel laat in de
Just-
week. Valt erin en valt hij opgehouden.
Wrong side. It's an inch too much.
We doen ook mee. Ik weet niet of het
That's all it takes in curling.
Als het deze zeker
Unfortunately.
Ik vind het kort.
Well,
Ieder roese.
a little bit about tolerance too. I think the tolerance of that
Yep.
shot is maybe coming up a bit light,
Yep.
perhaps.
Yep.
Just overthrew that one a wee bit. But 2 yellows in the house, at least. Now Switzerland making a play on the short stone.
Looking to roll in behind, I believe.
Diep.
Vichonka has had a bit of a tough game so far, 59%.
Diep vast. Away.
Lowest score out on the sheet today. And surely the big difference between him and Derek Sloan at a solid 80, and here you go, another miss from Switzerland, but
Pretty darn good miss, though.
be careful if you're Vichonka. You got
Wat zei je aan de top?
a reigning world champion on the bench.
Yeah.
Reto Keller is going to play the World Championship soon, and
Yeah.
you know they might just put him on. They did change the team up last year, even though they were winning. So
Yep.
might just have to raise his game a little bit. Oh, that's a nice
Nice
double.
shot.
There we go, Derek Sloan. Makes up for that first mistake. Now Scotland lying 2.
I love the cheers. Parents here are just so supportive.
Quite all nice roll up in underneath cover as well, actually.
Yeah.
So no double back for Vichonka, but he's going to have to make a play on the top bill.
It looks like he's just softening his release a bit. He doesn't really seem to have much of a positive. Well, as I say that.
Well, I said there was no double, but Vichonka proved me wrong. Yeah, I didn't really think that was possible. Even avoids a jam, and now they're lying 2. That's a
Maybe we should
super
talk
shot.
after they throw.
Sometimes being all soft pays
Yeah.
off.
Well,
Fight back
just
four.
they've been calling it out of his hand a lot, so. But like I said, the expression is throw it to make it. That's how he had to make that shot, I guess. So.
I don't even know if that was the call, but
Oh. Well, it was a good result.
Line's good. Where?
Switch if you can.
So
Switch if
2
you
Swiss
can.
rocks in the house now.
Oh, line's good.
This end is
Derek.
just going
Hard.
back and forth.
Okay, Angus
Yeah.
now.
Hard, boys.
And
Hard.
now
Take
an
it.
out-turn draw from
Hard.
Martin Mingus.
Hard,
And this
boys.
one's
Go, go,
Looking
go.
pretty good.
yeah, real good.
Hard.
Wow.
Hard, Goose.
Beauty. Ducking in cover.
Good sweep.
Now Yannick Schwaller calling the peel on the guard. Doesn't want to play around. Just going to keep it simple. They got 2 reds in there. Just telling Scotland, well, if you want to guard, you can guard. But if you ever miss, we might score 3.
Yep.
Just making sure they have a shot for their 1. Switzerland.
And that's all they need. 1 point in 8 for, well, for either team. It's going to be a huge advantage.
Tip. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, easy. Oh,
Yeah, if
easy.
you're Switzerland, you just try to play it safe for 1. But if you get a 2, that's just
Good.
dynamite.
Always in safe limit.
Close peel. Has a peel tick. Classic peel tick. I perfected those.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's going to freeze in the race.
Yeah, and I think Duncan Mingus will throw the centre guard.
Halfway. Just halfway, yeah?
Yeah.
Angus. Angus needs to
Whoa,
swing.
Derek's.
No, Angus.
I
Line's
think
good,
Derek.
line's good.
Yep,
Whoa,
Derek's.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Derek's.
Whoa. Just leave it, just leave it.
Over and up.
Whoa.
Sweepers back off. Just to let it stop as it was starting to overcurl a little bit. And Swiss electing to call a timeout because, as you can see, we've got about half of the yellow rock, maybe 3/4. Show another angle of it. And, they could easily just hit that and roll to the side.
Easily.
Well, they're professionals. They've got this.
They've called a timeout, actually.
Yeah.
So their coach, Erik Neufenegger, will come out. Same coach they had last year for the World when they won the gold. Listening.
Ja, das Geilste ist die hier. Er kann keinen verstecken. Wegen dem hier. Wir können immer angreifen. Ja.
Tip-top.
So. Er kann Takeout.
Okay. Good. Tip-top.
Ja.
So I don't speak a whole lot of Swiss German, but I think I can make out the call. Looks like they're going after the yellow here.
Nice little roll to the side there. Make sure that there's nothing in the back for the Scotland guys to freeze on.
Yannick Schwaller. Big shot.
Whoa.
Puts some real pressure on Scotland.
Whoa, bro.
Just calling sweepers off. Maybe just overthrown this one a wee bit.
Whoa.
Got to make contact.
Ho.
And that's not enough.
Okay.
Scotland still lying shot. And so far, the risk hasn't paid off.
Even if we end up being short, it's not a disaster.
Few stones left, though.
What we do then?
No, I think we want to come here, no?
That was exactly what Scotland was hoping for.
Yep.
And the centre guard now still in play.
Like
getting edge buried.
Another chance to
Even if
draw
we're
into
here,
the forfeit.
Okay.
This time to line 2.
I think if we're going to try and steal, we have to go in.
Yeah.
Because if we go here, then he has this draw to back here.
We just follow him.
Okay.
Well, if you think we have to come back, that's fine. I think as long as you're getting inside edge buried.
Yeah.
Discussing ice right now, where to put the broom.
Give me a wee bit left.
Okay.
And now Yannick and Romano in the back. In hindsight, thinking, well, maybe you should have peeled that guard. Certainly, if you peel the guard, you just you
Still keeping it open.
yeah, and you still have a shot for the point. Although it would have been a draw to the button, most likely. But they took a risk.
Well, depending on where he goes with this, we'll see
Where?
what kind of options the Switzerland team has.
Line's nice. Line's nice.
Angus. Yep.
Yep. Hard. Hard, guys. Hard.
Line's really good.
Hard.
It's been real solid on draws. Bruce now at 91% for 8 draws, but
As far as you can take it. As far as
this
you can take
time
it.
pulls up a wee bit short.
Okay, boys.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not bad.
And I think the Swiss boys can see enough of the L in the back to hit and lie to the only upside for Bruce Mount, as those 2 stones in front are staggered. So even if the Swiss play this whole hit, it might just be a chance to draw around,
Yep.
Out, yeah.
and he might have to play that risk.
Team final. Okay. Okay.
Go hard for the steal.
Romano Meyer's been dead solid. Only 3% after 7 ends. That's going to win you a medal.
Yep.
You can keep that up for every game. I guess it's due for a miss. Super's trying to keep the line here.
Pretty darn close to the. Yeah.
Well, still not a terrible result. Seems to be the way for the Swiss. Even when they miss, they make something out of the rock.
Yep. They're controlling the weight, and they're thinking of the tolerance for every shot. And I think it's absolutely what you just said. It's been helping them out tremendously. Because if they do miss, they miss well.
Yeah.
Good. Hey, we were right there the last
Bruce
time.
Mount will have a chance to play the same draw. And you'd think he'd be pretty close with it. Again, we don't see that huge finish at the end, so you got to be pretty close to the top rocks.
Where?
Pretty soft. Pretty soft.
Top 4, boys.
Whoa.
And if you don't skinny
Well,
past
Joe,
it, you
Yep.
might set up a double
Derek.
Whoa,
for Romano Meyer.
Derek,
And
swing it.
so far,
Swing
hanging
it.
out there a wee bit.
Hard, Derek. Hard!
Boys
Maybe
are-
overcompensating.
Hard!
Yep. Boys are really going to have to try and scrub here. Tuck a piece.
I'm not sure if that's enough. I wonder if Meyer will have a double for 3.
Eigenlijk zeg het daar.
The weight was perfect there for Bruce Mount.
Nee, nee, 8 is goed.
Pretty nog houten.
Just needed a little more finish.
8 vind je ook goed. 3, 4 tools.
They're going to throw some weight at it.
4, 5 tools.
Just
Try and get the double.
catch this one just off nose.
Yep.
And score at least 2 and maybe 3. Score 2 here would be huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Huge advantage.
A 3 would certainly kill the game. So a big shot for Romano Meyer. Been solid so far. Can he make this one count? Last stone of the 8th end.
It looks really close.
There we go.
Nice shot.
Wow.
For 3.
Keeps the shooter around without bouncing out that red on the wing.
Fantastic.
Sticks for 3. And I want to say that's game, set, and match. 7-3 for Switzerland now.
What a great shot.
Ja, 4 voor. 2 maar door.
2 maar door.
High fives all around.
Boys are looking solid.
Yep.
You got to think Scotland's going to have to score 3 here in the 9th end to make it interesting.
Oh.
Speel maar eine voor
I think they're going to have to.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Umpire needs to
3, ja.
put a 2 up. There we go.
Ja.
So Switzerland's not going to play around. They're just going to run their first rock through. Obviously, the more rocks they have in play, the more Scotland has to play around with. So they just want to keep it as neat as possible. Scotland's going to take advantage of the free guard zone here. They want Angus Dowell to put up a few corner guards, and they're just going to have to hope for a few misses.
Yep.
And they might get those misses from Patrick Wieczonka, playing 62% to 15 takeouts. Not as solid as we've seen him before.
Nope. We're going to see 2 corner guards here in this end.
Two's good.
And like you said, hope for a miss. Try and generate your 3.
Okay.
Nice goose.
And now we're going to see a delicate shot, I think. Or maybe
A
not.
tick shot?
Nope, they're not.
Nope. Throw it through? Okay.
Looked like Yannick was
Gonna put the
looking
broom
for
and try
it.
it.
Well, you don't want to mess up your stance by playing such a high difficult shot.
There you go.
You know, Michael Proms at 94%.
Why mess with a good thing?
Well, there's no all-star team of the World Juniors anymore. There used to be like that back in the day.
When did they take that away? Do you know?
Not quite sure. We haven't had stats for all the World Junior Championships. I don't mind stats, so don't always tell everything.
No. No, you take it with a grain of salt.
Hey, goose.
Now, Wieczonka. Had a few dodgy rocks so far in the game. Time to redeem yourself with a few nice peels. Maybe get the double going here, although
Definitely possible. Slipped a little bit too far on his last draw, so double is there.
across the nose again. And doubles on, but
he's got it.
he's going to leave the red. Nice shot nonetheless.
Yep.
Well, you want to keep these level. Derek Sloan.
Try and get your guard even with the other red, making the double not available to the other team. And he'll do just that. Slightly lower, but still very good.
Just a single peel this time, called by Yannick Schwaller. Seems to prefer the intern because this time he's playing Not across the face of the rock, but just on the high side with the in turn. No problem. So just 2 good shots by Wichonka.
Perfect.
He should be creeping over 60% with that.
Finish with the strong 2 ends.
Yep.
It's a good thing to keep in your memory.
I'm sure he'll
remember those ones. Keep those in his repertoire.
Yeah.
Good shot.
I'm sure he'll have better games.
Yep.
Everyone's allowed to have a pro game now and again.
Yep. Like I was saying, it's really good as a thrower to have this good shot repertoire to think about. Oh yeah, in the second game, you know, I threw this, and remembering how you threw it and going back to those good memories. Throwing away all the bad ones. You don't need to think about those.
Going to your happy place.
Yeah, exactly. You're throwing happy place.
Right. So same game, corner guard, and Switzerland looking to peel them off.
Easy.
Scotland really needs a miss from the Swiss guys if they're going to score 3. But as for now, it's not happening.
There, boys. There.
Line's good.
Another corner guard going up. Sweepers backing off a bit.
Good.
Hoping it'll sit in time, and it looks like it does. Good shot.
Easy. Whoa. Easy. Whoa. Whoa. Weg. Whoa, weg. Okay, go ahead.
Another nice peel by Yannick Schwaller. That's what makes a world champion team. You know, knowing how to play aggressive, put rocks in play, but also being good front runners. Being able to play defensively well when you're up in games.
Take 2, give up 1. Take 2, give up 1. Works every time.
And if you take a 3,
yeah,
even better.
Yeah.
Close. Yep.
Yep. So far, they're doing a really good job at scoring management. You know, they've taken 2.
Gotta go.
Given
Hard,
up
boys.
1. Sorry, first end is stole 2. Give up 1.
Really hard.
Well, they didn't give up a steal of 1.
Go. Whoa.
Scotland stole 1 in the 5th.
Yeah.
But I'd say the Swiss boys have been better than Scotland. Maybe score we're not doing, not reflecting the game too well. I think the Scottish boys haven't been a lot worse, but
no, it hasn't been a landslide by any stretch.
But just a few key shots.
Yep.
Oh. Yep. Oh.
Well, bit of a miss there. At least does move the guard over, exposing Yellowstone in the house. So you'd think Scotland shouldn't be able to score more than 2 here.
Yeah. He'll hit the open one.
It's okay.
So
at least you think you'll hit the open one. Never assume, right?
see the coaches sitting inside, I think. Or no?
No, it's just the glass
from
behind the sheets.
Here.
So They've got the same temperature as us.
Line's a bit high. Switch. Switch.
Yeah.
Yep,
Can be
up
cold
hard
sitting
line.
on the bench.
Make sure it's
Hard,
in.
guys.
Is this what it feels
Hard,
like
guys.
to be
Get
a
it
skip?
here. Hard! Go,
He
go,
sat on the
go.
bench for
I did.
in 2010.
Ooh. The guys will just come up short. That is an uncharacteristic miss.
Yeah, his draw weight's been really good so far. Meyer playing the head.
Whoa, whoa, weg! Achtung!
Easy.
They want to stick around. I'm not sure if there's a
Easy.
potential split on the yellow. It looks
No,
pretty difficult.
That's a little too high.
Romano Meyer sticks the shooter anyway. And well, Scotland, what do you do here? Are they just blanking? Taking their one. What do you want to do? Is take 4 or steal 3?
I think you take your one. But then again, it's whatever they feel most comfortable with. And whatever their stats say, they are best at.
Clean. Clean.
Mind you, taking 4 is quite the challenge. Not that stealing 3 is any easier, but and they take their 1. So we're at 7-4.
Cheers, well played.
Oh, and it looks like handshakes.
Yep, Scotland just realizing that stealing 3 on the reigning world champions is going to be a bit of a tall
Tough
task.
battle. Yeah. Great game by both teams, though. A tough battle out there.
Yeah, we might see them play again later in the week. I think Scotland's going to pull off better games than they have today. Swiss boys, they roll on with 2 wins. Scotland moves to 1-1.
Still so early in the competition, so.
Well, if you stick around, I'll get some highlights from this big matchup between Scotland and Switzerland. I'll try and get a few words in with Swiss skip Yannick Schwaller as well. Just updating you on the scores out there in the arena today. We have, along with the future game we had, we have a final score between Sweden and Estonia. Really interesting scoreboard there. Sweden took 2 in the first end, and then they stole 2 in the next 5 ends, making it a 10-1 game. Estonia scoring 1 in the 6th. Korea is playing Italy. Italy is 3 down with hammer in the 9th end. Korea leading 6 shots to 3. Really tight game between USA and Norway. They're in the 10th end. It's tied up at 3 each, but USA has the last stone. And between Russia and Canada, Russia in control 7 shots to 4. After that, 5 in the 7th. We're going to have some highlights. First end. 3 Swiss rocks in the house. Bruce Mowat is looking for a little hit and roll, but rolls the wrong way all the way out, and Switzerland steals 2. Second end is blanked. We skip ahead to the 3rd end. Bruce Mowat with a chance to claw back with all split, but shooter rolls too far. Only a score of 1. The Swiss leading 2 shots to 1 after 3 ends. Another blank in the 4th end. And in the 5th, Switzerland had lots of rocks in play and all turned around swiftly. Romano Meyer playing a run back to save the end. Can't quite make it. Steal a 1 for Scotland, and it's all tied up after 5. Second half of the game, 6th end. Romano Meyer with an open hit, score 2. Switzerland up by 2, 4 shots to 2 after 6. And in the 7th end, a bit of pressure on Bruce Mowat, drawing against 3 this time. Finds the forefoot, with some nice sweeping action from the front end, but still trailing the Swiss. In the 8th end, Bruce Mowat had a chance to tuck a draw in there, but lies in the open. Romano Meyer has been solid all day. Makes a great double to score 3 to put this game away. And the 9th, Scotland tried their best, but Switzerland just made all their shots. Mowat coming up short with his first draw, only scoring 1, realizing it's going to be too tough. They shake hands, and the Swiss will move to 2 wins and no losses. So, the reigning world champions enjoying a good start for the week, 2 wins. And like I mentioned, we'll have a few words in with Yannick Schwaller, skipping 3rd for the Switzerland team. So we're ready for an interview then with Yannick Schwaller.
So it's a rematch game from last year.
Yeah.
Were you guys at all nervous going into this game?
Yeah, we know that Team Watt is a good team. They had a good season. They was good in the men's Scottish nationals, and they won the Scottish juniors, and we're now really happy to win this game.
So it's a bit of a different atmosphere from being in your home country. How does it compare being in Estonia this year?
Yeah, it's a beautiful arena here. We had a lot of fans. Last year it was special at home, but yeah, it's make a lot of fun here.
Good. Well, thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's it for our coverage for this morning. We'll have more exciting curling later on. 2 o'clock local time here in Tallin, Estonia. That's Eastern European time. If you're in Toronto, that's 7 in the morning. So hopefully we'll have a few Canadian fans in for the big matchup, North American battle. Canada playing USA in the women's draw. So we'll see you later on. That's it for us this morning. World Junior Curling Championships 2015. See you later.